Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Friday, which means it's time for a new video. Now, as you guys know, because hopefully you've been watching the content on Magic TV this week, I am at Penguin Magic. I've been at Penguin Magic all week. We've been filming the Penguin Holiday Special, which, by the way, is going to be incredible. If you like last year's, this is off the charts, and as last year's was, this year's will be free as well. And the material, the sketches, everything is just brilliant. You guys are in for a treat. So I've been filming the Penguin Holiday Special. I've also been filming some projects over here. However, this is a special video. Now, the reason for this special video is because it's coming up to Black Friday. I'm sure you guys know it's coming up to Black Friday. And Black Friday in the in the Magic world is kind of a really big deal because every single Magic shop goes absolutely balls to the wall to try and basically deliver the best possible deals that they can. Now, we all know that Murphy's has a Black Friday deal going on throughout the month and going into December, which trickles down to all of the Magic dealers across the whole of the world. However, there's certain Magic dealers that really go crazy for Black Friday. Penguin Magic, Vanishing Ink, you know, there's Alakazam. There's a few of them that really kind of put out some great deals. TCC tend to do so as well. Peter tend to do so as well. But I've been covering Black Friday for a few years now, and I have to tell you, I think that Penguin Magic always deliver better than anyone else. I do think that Penguin, it's always a toss-up between Penguin and Vanishing Ink because they both have a similar strategy. And the strategy is release loads of really cool magic tricks and have tiers that you can hit where you get cool stuff for free. Now, the reason I'm making this video is I have no idea what the cool stuff is. So how Penguin normally do their Black Friday is they have tiers. And depending on the tiers that you hit, you get certain tricks for free. And they're giving away amazing tricks. Like I remember a couple of years ago, they gave away Keymaster at a certain level. They gave away Heroes and Villains at a certain level, I think. There's loads of, like, when they give stuff away for free, it's not little stuff. It's some of their best sellers, which you don't see a lot of Magic companies do. A lot of Magic companies, when they give stuff away, it's normally the stuff that hasn't sold. But Penguin tend to go in the opposite direction, which I've always appreciated. And, you know, I end up always spending $1,000 at Penguin Magic every single time they run one of these because I always want to hit that top tier and get that really cool thing. Well, the other part of what Penguin Magic do is they release loads of cool tricks, and I have managed to get my hands on the list and on some of the props that Penguin are actually bringing out this Black Friday. Now, if I've done my timing correct, this video goes out at 9 o'clock UK time, which should be slightly after the announcement from Penguin. So Penguin are going to announce all of this really cool stuff. You're going to be able to get a chance to see the trailers and so on and so forth. But I have a lot of it over here, and I have a list of everything that's coming out, and I'm going to go through it for you. So I can't tell you, you know, I don't work for Penguin, for God's sake. It's not like, you know, I just do a lot of projects for them. I don't work for them. I can't tell you what their special offers are or what the free stuff is they're giving out. You're going to have to go to Penguin Magic for that. But what I can tell you is the stuff they're bringing out. Now, we'll start off with the smaller stuff because every year at Penguin, they give away gifts. They produce stuff that's not really a magic trick, but they produce stuff that is kind of fun, kind of cool, and you normally get it given to you for free if you hit a certain tier. And I've got a few of these this year. So first of all, they're bringing out a 5-pack of deck protectors by Penguin Magic. Now, I've picked up a set of these already when I went into their HQ. These are really cool. They're like see-through hard plastic containers that you can put a deck of cards in. So it's not like a card guard or anything like that. They're sort of like see-through deck holders, for want of a better word. And the reason I think these are cool is because it's going to help me keep track of what deck is what gaff deck is what. Because I don't know about you guys, sometimes I get confused. I'm like, right, I've got this trick set up for a particular thing. I'm not really 100% sure where the deck is. I know it's somewhere, and I've in the past written on the bottom of the barcode of what the trick is, and that doesn't look great, does it? And so you have this whole thing of how you're going to put this together. I love the idea of having these deck protectors, and you just take your deck, you can mark the front of it because it's see-through, it's not a problem. You can write on exactly what the trick is, and then stick it in wherever it is that you store your stuff, or in your close-up case or whatever, and then when you go to your gig and you want to perform it, you just take it out of the deck protector and you wait to go. So I actually quite like that. I thought that was really good. They've also brought out some Krampus playing cards. Every year, Penguin bring out Christmas-themed playing cards that they give away at Black Friday. This year, they've got Krampus-themed playing cards. Now, I've already told you guys, I'm not a big user of, like, specially printed cards. You know, I'm kind of a bicycle through and through, rider back for life. But they look really cool. If you're into cool cards, Ryland will go nuts over this. I know he will. Ryland loves his card collection. He absolutely does. So I know that the Krampus cards for somebody like Ryland will be amazing. They look cool. That's all I can say. Another gift they've brought out is a Penguin enamel pin badge. I am absolutely going to be getting one of those. I think that's great. A Stockman, Elvo Stockman, original playing card sock by Elvo Stockman, and you get one pair for winter. They look like Christmas socks, but they're designed to put over decks of cards. They're like a little knitted sock, and you put your deck of cards in there. Imagine a card guard if it was made out of wool and looked Christmassy. It's fun. If you're doing Christmas gigs and you pull out your deck of cards from a little sock, I think that could be quite cool. And I actually pointed out to Penguin, there's got to be a trick there as well, like the card goes inside the sock, a little bit like Sock Coins by Tommy Wonder. Really cool idea. As with every other year, they've brought out a Corby the Penguin. If you didn't know, the Penguin in Penguin Magic has a name. His name is Corby, which is why when I brought out Level Up, one of the games was called Quest for Corbus. And so every year they bring out a Penguin plushie, a Corby plushie. And this year, the Penguin plushie is the softest one I've ever seen, and it's Santa themed. So he's got a little Santa hat on, and he's decked out ready for Christmas. It's a Christmas themed Penguin Corbus plushie. And that's a sentence I never thought I'd ever say. And then finally, every year Penguin bring out a jigsaw. It's a jigsaw based on a classic Magic poster, and this year they've gone for Carter the Great. They've got another puzzle, another jigsaw puzzle, Carter the Great. Brilliant. They're the gifts. Very well and good. Then we go on to the tricks. Now, I haven't got all of the tricks here. I've seen all of them, and I can talk to you about all of them. This is not a review. I'm going to review all of this stuff. This is not a review, but I can talk to you very confidently about all of these tricks because I have seen all of them. Now, the first one is Tundra by Seth Race. Now, Seth Race is an amazing magician as far as I'm concerned. I've worked with Seth on a few different projects over the years, and the way his brain works is just nuts. He's very, very creative. I think he's probably one of the most underrated creators on the planet. So he's brought out this thing called Tundra. Now, Nick Lacapo has done the demo. Oh, there we go. I moved that with the power of my mind. I hope you're impressed. Nick Lacapo has done the demo for this, and he's done the tutorial and the performances and so on and so forth. But basically what Tundra is it's, imagine a mental photography deck, but without any gimmicks, without any rough and smooth or anything like that. So if you don't know, a mental photography deck is a deck where it turns from blank to printed. Now, the routine that you have with Tundra is you show a blank deck, it's completely blank, you show it on the front, you show it on the back, and then you just wave your hand over and all of the backs print, and then you show the fronts and they're blank, the backs are still printed, but the fronts are blank, and you just wave your hand in front, and as you do, the fronts immediately print. Now, the cool thing is you can stop there, and you're left with a regular deck of cards that you can use for any card routine. That's right, there's no gimmicks at all. At all, there's no gimmicks. It is a regular deck of cards. I say there's no gimmicks at all. There's one, don't want to give too much away, but you're left with a regular deck of cards, right? Now, there is another follow-up routine or sequence where you then turn the cards back to blank again, you put them back in the card box, you give the card box to the spectator, and when they take the cards out, they're printed, and again, everything is completely examinable at that point. So there's a couple of different ways of doing it. I thought there was a gimmick involved. I thought it was like rough and smooth or something, because I couldn't understand how you could get the entire deck to print on both sides. The displays for this are simply amazing. I love the fact that you're left with a regular deck of cards. So that's Tundra. You've also got User Error by Chris Hannawell. Now, Chris Hannawell is a very funny comedy magician, and User Error is a packet trick. Now, I love packet tricks. I'm sure you love packet tricks. I love packet tricks. And this is a super fun packet trick because it's all based around technology, right? So it's all based around tech. It's all based around trying to do this trick. It's kind of like a twisting routine in a way, but it's not a twisting routine, because what happens is every time you try and do this trick, what happens is you get a user error message on the cards. And the nice thing is there's no table involved in this, and when your user error happens, the cards are being given to the spectator and they're examining and holding all of them, and a user error pops up on every single card, and then the other side pops up with user error. Imagine a kind of a small packet version of Presto Printo, but with like user error tech type basing presentation, as if everything's going wrong. But at the end, everything's examinable, and all the cards are in the spectator's hands. And at the end, the final card, there's a couple of revelations on there, including a QR code. And if the spectators scan the QR code, it takes them to something very, very funny. I'm not going to say what, but it's something that every single person that you're performing for will relate to. And it's something that's very, very funny, very typical Chris Hannawell, that gives it a really nice ending. So there you go, that's User Error, and that's presented by Eric Tate. You also have Secret of the Serpent by Dan Harlan. Now, we all know who Dan Harlan is. Now, Dan isn't on the tutorial. The tutorial and the performances are done by Eric Tate, but Secret of the Serpent is based on a game that you can buy. It's these hexagonal sort of, it's like a board game. It's hexagonal, like little gaming pieces of cardboardy thing, and there's different colors on each end, and the idea is that you've got to make a serpent on a table, and the idea is that you can predict the exact outcome, even though the spectator's making all of the choices. This fooled me. I didn't think this would be any good. I'll be honest with you. I when I had it described to me, I was like, okay. Then I watched Eric perform it. I watched him actually go out to a bar and do this. And people were so invested in this trick. They were so invested. Apparently, it's based on a game that people know. So you've instantly got that hook there, and people knew what to do with it. But even if they didn't, the concept's very simple. But the nice thing is everything, and I mean everything, is completely and totally examinable, and it's all within your control, and they make all of the choices. Typical Dan Harlan thinking, and I was completely wrong about it. I think it's really, really good. So that is Secret of the Serpent. Now, the other thing that you've got is a new updated version of Super Sucker by Risky Nanda. Now, Super Sucker is one of Penguin's best-selling tricks. It's the one where the coin turns into a lollipop, and all of that sort of stuff, and it gets wrapped up, and there's so much stuff that's going on with Super Sucker. It's really, really good. So they've brought out an updated version. Super Sucker's been really, really popular with a lot of people, but I was speaking to the guys at Penguin, and they've said they've always had one piece of feedback about Super Sucker. And they've taken that feedback on board, and they've included it in the new version. Also, it's made out of a nickel, and it's blue. So it's a blue lollipop that you end up with. So it's a blue lollipop. It's made out of a nickel, and they've updated the design and taken on customer feedback. But it's Super Sucker. It's Super Sucker basically 2.0. Now, one of the most exciting things, I'm gonna talk to you about one more thing, and then I've got some stuff to show you. One more thing, and I have to tell you how cool this is. They've brought out an update to Dragon Scale. Now, if you don't know what Dragon Scale is Penguin's release from a couple of years ago. If you look on the Penguin website, on the right-hand side, you're going to see the best-selling tricks of all time. That's not like on a week-by-week basis. That's the best-selling tricks of all time. And this is right there at the top. I think it's like 2, 3, or 4 or something like that. They've sold so many of these. I've been at conventions with Penguin on their stand, and people are just wanting dragon scales. And the reason is how much it does. You know, a lot of people bring out electronics and bring out apps, and, you know, it's not supported after a couple of years. Penguin are just constantly loading new decks into this. The original dragon scale basically was a weighing device built into a deck of cards. So you can have a spectator cut off a deck of cards, take a deck of cards and cut some cards, and you'll immediately know what the cards are. As long as the cards are in stack, they'll immediately know how many cards they've got, what the cards are, what the total of all of the cards are. And you watch Nick do a live performance with this, who was on the Dragon Scale project, and it's like ridiculous what you can do with this. Well, they've brought out now, or they're bringing out at Black Friday, the Dragon Scale Bowl. Okay, so what is the Dragon Scale Bowl? Well, basically, effectively, if you take your Dragon Scale and stick it into the bowl, it's a bowl that's been designed for the Dragon Scale gimmick. So the Dragon Scale goes right there into the bowl. So there's no decks of cards in play anymore. It literally turns the bowl into an electronic weighing device, which marries up to your phone, your watch, and your earpiece, and all of the other stuff that the original Dragon Scale does. Now, again, I watched Eric Tate. I watched Eric go out and absolutely destroy audiences with this Dragon Scale. And when I'm talking about destroy them, I mean destroy them. So the trick he was doing is he was walking up to the table with a bowl which was full of pennies. And he was doing like a 3-phase routine. And the first phase is he was turning his back. He was getting somebody to reach into the bowl, grab a handful of pennies, and he was telling them to shake them. And he's like, right, okay. And he was telling them the amount of pennies in their hand, which was completely correct because he was getting the reading. As he turned around, he was getting the reading immediately. Then he said, put them back in, and he got somebody else to reach in and grab some pennies. And this time they weren't shaking them, and he was just like, hang on a minute. And he was telling them the amount of pennies, which was incredible. And then the third time, he got a spectator to reach in, grab some pennies, and then somebody else reach in and grab some pennies. And he was immediately able to tell them the pennies that each person had. I love the fact that it involved so many people. It wasn't a card trick. It was very direct mentalism, and it destroyed them. I'm telling you, I've seen some great reactions to trick. This destroyed them. This is something that you could carry around in a walk-around thing, but also you could do it in a formal close-up show. It's just... That's the word I'm looking for. Bloody amazing. Now, anything that goes in the bowl you can use. So, I mean, Eric was using pennies. You could use candy. You could use a bunch of different stuff because the Dragon Scale itself is adaptable to various different things. But honestly, this Dragon Scale bowl really takes Dragon Scale to the next level. I'll be honest with you. I have a Dragon Scale and I haven't used it. And the reason I haven't used it, and no, that's a lie. I used it for a while. But the reason I never ended up using it permanently, full-time, if you will, is because it was just, I could do a lot of the stuff, because I'm a stacked deck user, because I use stacked decks, a lot of the stuff that the Dragon Scale was allowing me to do, I could do with a mem deck, if that makes sense. So I was like, it's really nice, but it's something I'm going to have to carry around where I can kind of do the same thing without it. Not exactly, but I can approximate enough of it without needing to carry an electronic weighing device in a deck of cards around. This, however, is freaking incredible. I am 100% going to do this. I've got some really cool ideas of how I can actually use this. I'm going to try the penny thing, but I've got some really, really fun ideas. I'm very excited about this. This is one of the things that they're bringing out that I'm most excited about. So there you go. Right, next up, you've got Falcon Ring by Josh Birch. Now, I talked about Seth Race being somebody who I very much respect. Josh Birch is somebody I respect just as much. I think he's a very underrated creator, and I don't think that people realise just what Josh can do and what he's capable of. And Falcon Ring, I'm going on record right now to tell you that Falcon Ring is Josh's best trick, bar none. Nothing else comes close. And I'm a fan of Josh's stuff. I've worked on some of Josh's material in the past. Falcon Ring is the best. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It's this. This is a Falcon Ring. I don't have the packaging for it, but I have the actual Falcon Ring. Now, I'll tell you what you get in a minute, but effectively, this is a PK ring. Now, I used to work with World Magic Shop. I used to work with Jim Trainer, who was the guy that invented the Wizard PK ring. And they were so popular back in the day. You don't see many people using magnetic rings these days. The Wizard PK ring was really, really popular back in the day. And the big problem with it was there were no routines. That was one of the problems. And the other problem is it would break very easily because it was effectively made out of a magnet. If you put your hand down on the table too hard or you dropped it, you're screwed. So this is a Falcon ring, and it's a really strong PK ring that is silicone covered. It is completely covered in silicone. Now that means two things. The first thing it means is that you can drop it and nothing will happen. It's not going to break because it's made out of silicone. But the magnet inside it is super powerful. But a lot of the routines that you do with a PK ring, let's say you're going to use a magnetic coin, for example, or a bottle cap or something. The problem with it is you get that clink when the ring touches the thing, because the thing is clinking against the ring, right? And there was no way to get around that with a normal magnetic ring. The silicone completely dampens the noise, which is just super smart thinking from Josh. So you get this Falcon ring, but here's what you get in the package. You actually get 3 Falcon rings. So you get 3 different sizes, so you don't have to worry about what size to get and what size not to get. You get 3 different sizes. Now, this is the middle size. This one is slightly too small for me. It'll go on my little finger, but this is the middle size. Stuck on my finger down. There we go. This is the middle size, but you get 3 different sizes, which means that you find the size in the box that you like, and the other 2, I don't know. I plan on giving one to Ryland, Thea. But these make amazing butt magnets as well. I don't know if you guys ever use butt magnets. I have talked on this channel over and over again about how every magician should have a butt magnet. Well, this makes an amazing butt magnet. So when you've got 3, you shove one of them in your back pocket, you've got an instant butt magnet to do all of your routines, which is super cool. Now, the real gold is that Josh has pulled out every single stop and has got some of the biggest names in magic that have agreed to contribute routines. He's got routines on there from people like Ben Earl. He's got, if you remember season 1 of Penn and Teller Fool Us, and Alan Rorison went on season 1 of Penn and Teller Fool Us, and he did a matrix in the spectator's hand. So he had 2 spectators hold their hands up like this, and he put 4 coins on their hands, and he had 4 cards, and he was covering the coins with the cards, and he was basically doing Matrix in a walk around style situation, which is insane. Well, that routine has been given by Alan Morrison for this project, so that routine is taught, and I'm telling you right now, that alone is the single most practical matrix routine you'll ever see, because now you can do matrix walking around anytime, anywhere. You don't need a table, you don't need a close-up case, you can just drop 4 coins on the hands. Go look at season 1 of Penn and Teller Fool Us, you'll see him doing it. It's amazing. But, and this really impressed me, my favorite routine when I was doing restaurants, my favorite routine of all time was Prohibition by Charlie Justice. Well, Josh has been given permission by Charlie Justice to teach Prohibition, which is the best capping bottle ever. It's like the granddaddy of capping bottles. The idea is that you take a bottle, borrow the bottle if you want to, empty bottle, you take a cap, you squeeze the cap, you show it goes in through the top, you then tip it out and you put it in through the bottom. And it all relies on a PK ring. And I did it all of the time. For years I did this, and the only problem was the sound. You don't have that issue with this. This is stronger than any PK ring I've ever used, and it's also silicone, so you're not going to get any noise. So I love this. That's the Falcon Ring. That's getting released as well. Falcon Ring. I'm looking down at my notes, if you see me looking down. I want to make sure that you guys get all the information that you need. Right, next up we have, and I've got the packaging for this. Next up we have, by Alex Latore and Juan Capilla, you have Double Stacked by Alex Latore and Juan Capilla. Now, I know this trick intimately. And the reason I know this trick intimately is because I have been doing this now for the last 18 months to 2 years. Why have I been doing this for the last 18 months for 2 years? Well, very simply, I was asked to do the tutorial, create the routines, do the performances, do the demo for this. I was asked to do everything. So I was sent the very first prototype for this, and you'll see me in the trailer. You'll see me in doing the tutorial. You'll see me doing the live performances. And I love this. This is in every single it's been very annoying that I've not been able to talk about this. Side note, I work with Alakazam, I work with Murphys, I work with Penguin, I work with TCC, I work with Trick Boom, I've worked with 1914, I've worked with Vanishing Ink, I've worked with pretty much every single major production company in Magic. And the most annoying thing is that when I start working on something and I get excited about it, because you guys need to remember, I love Magic. I absolutely freaking love Magic. And when I get a chance to work on something and I'm really excited about it, I can't tell anyone about it. Outside of a small circle of friends, people like Nemid Phoenix, people like Thomas Maloney, outside of that, I can't really tell anyone because I'm not allowed to. And you know, like when you buy a trick and you get excited about the trick and you want to tell everybody, I'm not allowed to. And that's the case with something like this. I've been working on this for a couple of years. Me and Ryland do this in our family show, but it's not just a, you think cookies, you automatically obviously think tricks for kids or family shows or kid shows, but this is something that works close up. In fact, I put 15 routines on this project. I remember when they asked me, can you put some routines together? And I was like, yeah, send it me. Let me see what I can do. And I rang them up about 2 months later and I was like, right, I'm ready to film this. I've been working it in. And they were like, oh, how many routines you got? I'm like, 15. And they were like, what? Because when I started working with it, I realized how versatile it actually is. And you're going to see on the demo, you're going to see on the trailer, me doing it in bars and in clubs. I love it because a lot of the routines that I do with this, they end up being given a little wrapped up packet of Oreos, which is so cool. But effectively, what it is a fake Oreo that looks like a real Oreo. You actually get two. You get one that this one here is a fake Oreo. It looks like a real Oreo, right? And the other one you get is this one. Now, this also looks like a fake Oreo. This is actually, this looks like a real Oreo. It's actually a fake Oreo. And what you can do with this, and I'll show you in a second exactly what you can do. Well, actually, let me give you an example. So I can have a stack of 3 Oreos, and I can make one of them just vanish. And I can do that and make it come back. I could take it and make it vanish, just like that. Now, the routines that I do with this, here's the thing, right? Coin magic, the best coin magic works when you apply a gimmick to the coin magic, right? I've talked about this before. Yes, there's wonderful routines that just use pure sleight of hand, but if you can attach a gimmick to it, like a flipper coin or a shell or something like that, it opens up even more possibilities. And the problem is, there's not that many gimmicks for cookie magic. I know Taiwan Ben bought out a folding cookie a while ago, and I think there was a pen through cookie as well. But you tend not to see many gimmicks for cookies. This is a gimmick that's been designed for a cookie that will not work with coins. You couldn't do with coins what this gimmick does with cookies. But it allows you to effectively make a cookie appear or make a cookie vanish at your fingertips. So I've got a killer chop cup routine with this, and I think on the demo you see the whole thing. And the whole idea is I make a cookie appear, it appears underneath a cardboard cup, a real normal cup. It's not a magnetic cup. I'm not using my gimmick chop. It's nothing magnetic. I then take another cookie, I make that disappear. There's 2 cookies, and then I lift up the 2 cookies, and I make one of them disappear like that, and then I make the next one disappear like that, and it's a whole thing. But effectively, what this is the gimmick allows you, with just no moves, to go from 3 cookies to 2 cookies, from 2 cookies to 3 cookies, and then with a little bit of a move, you can go from 2 cookies to 1 cookie, 1 cookie to 2 cookies. It's a really cool gimmick. Now, there is a lot you can do with it, but the reason I do it all the time in my family show is because I do a miser's dream with this, using like a paper bag, like the paper bags that you use for smash and stab. I bring out a paper bag, and I start making cookies appear. Right? I make a cookie appear, and I put it in the bag, and then I make another cookie appear. So I'm making cookies appear and putting them in the bag, and then I'm like, I need 2 cookies. We're going to need 2 cookies for this. and they're going to be screaming, "There's 2 cookies! There's 2 cookies! What? There's 2? No, there's not. There's only 1. There's 2. Look. Okay, I'll look. No, there's only 1. Don't be silly. There's only 1 cookie. There's 2 cookies. Look, there's only 1. Is that 2 cookies? No, that's 1 cookie. You've got to tell the difference between 1 cookie and 2 cookies. That is 1 cookie, and you keep doing this over and over again, and the kids just freak out about this. They really do. And my routine is I keep making cookies appear and keep making cookies appear, and at the end all of the cookies vanish and I end up with a glass of milk. Killer routine, especially for Christmas shows, right? Coming up and making milk and cookies appear for Santa. It's going to write itself. So yeah, that's what double stacked is. It is effectively, I've got a great 3 fly with cookies on there. I've got a great 3 fly with cookies where you're going, boom, and the cookies are jumping from one hand to another. It's really cool. So that's double stacked. That is coming out at Black Friday as well for Penguin Magic. You know what? I haven't really asked permission to do this video. I hope they don't beat me up too much. You never know, they might do. Next up, what have I got? Let me look at my notes here. Another Alex Latore. Alex Latore is smashing it right now, don't you guys think? Like, a couple of years ago, nobody knew who Alex Latore is. Think about all of it. He's just brought out the Trinity book test, stabbed in the dark. He brought out the rattle dice, which is one of my favourite tricks of all time. He's just brought out that pad, the Phantom pad. Now he's got double stacks, and the next one is Alex Latore as well. And if you are a coin magician, you are going to want this. This is called Pokito by Alex Latore. And when I saw this, I turned around to Penguin. I was like, guys, why did you not get me involved with this? Why was I not involved with this? Because I can immediately think of about 16 million routines that you could do with this. And I'm really not kidding. Don't do that. What this does is this takes all of the classic coin boxes. So it takes like the Pokito box, it takes the slot box, it takes the Boston box, and it puts them all together into one box to rule them all, a little bit like Lord of the Rings. And this box is so incredibly cool. Now, it's made out of metal. It's made to last. It doesn't look gimmicked in any way, but you can do incredible routines without even using the traditional turnover type thing that you would normally do. It's just really smart. Like, so for example, something that I've been working on, I don't know if you can see that, the spectator would put their finger in the box and you would show the lid. It's really important, no turnovers, no moves like that. You would take the box and you would, there you go, you'd put it here, and then you'd take a coin, you'd throw the coin at the box. You'd take another coin, you'd throw that coin at the box. You'd take another coin, you'd throw that coin at the box. You take another coin, you throw that coin over the box. Hang on, it sounds full. And look, 4 coins. There you go, right there in the box, which you can then use in whatever way that you want to. There is so much that you can do with this. I don't want to give away exactly what this is or exactly how it works or anything like that. It's not my trick to do, but this is just so cool. I cannot wait to start working with this. As I say, you can get it in $half, you can get it in dollars. I'm only just working through the tutorial myself now, but I've watched a lot of the performances, and Alex does this amazing walk around routine that doesn't require a table, no table, completely walk around, where literally he's using it as a Boston box, but only at points. And then it's not a Boston box, which is just super smart. And he's got these 3 coins, and the spectator puts the 3 coins in the box themselves. They hold onto the box. Your hands are empty, and boom, you've got a coin. You tip them out. There's just 2. You put the 2 back in. They put the 2 back in. They hold onto the box. You do this. Now the second one's there. You tip out. There's 1 more. The last one, you give someone the 2 coins to hold onto. The last coin goes in the box. They can hear it in there, and you tell them to pretend to take the coin out, and they hear it rattling. And when they take the coin out, even though you're shaking, it stops rattling like a really cool rattle box. And then you show the box empty completely, no ambiguity, and the coin's in their hand. It's killer. It's absolutely killer. And I'm telling you, Alex has just scratched the surface with what's possible with that box. That box is amazing. I'm going to ask Penguin if I can do like a second tutorial for them to re-promote it in a few months when I'm here next, because I think that's amazing. That's probably one of my favorite coin tricks that have come out this year. I love that trick so much. So you've got that. Next up, you've got this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You've got the Materializer Wallet by William O'Connell. I'm going to go on record now as saying that this is the best peak wallet I have ever seen, bar none. And it's not even designed as a peak wallet. What? Let me explain. So this is it. It looks very thin. I am going to take this around with me everywhere. This is the coolest thing ever. Now, let me show you. I'm going to get in so much trouble with Penguin, I think, but I'm actually going to show you what this is and what it does, I think. Penguin are going to kill me, but whatever. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? Because I want you guys to see what this is. Because this is very cool. I haven't got any billets with me, so let's just get a card. 5 minutes. Okay. So it looks like you've got just a little wallet, and there's a credit card in there, and so on and so forth. You would have them put the billet in. Let's say that this is the writing, the 5 of diamonds, this is the writing. You would have them put this in the wallet like that, and you would have them zip it up, right? They can do that. You don't even have to be holding the wallet if you don't want to. Now, here's the cool thing, right? I don't know how well this is showing up. You can't see anything, but it's electronic. If I press a button, watch. Hang on, let me do it around this way so I can see. There you go. Okay, so watch. I don't know how, you can see. There you go. So look, all I have to do is press a button. Can you see it? I just press a button and it comes into view. And I press another button there and it's gone. Look, it's in view, it's gone. It's in view, it's gone. It's in view, it's gone. It's in view, and when I say it's in view, it's crystal clear, and now it's gone. It's in view, it's gone. So what will happen is they put this in here, right? You can show it, there's nothing to see. I press the button, now I can see the peak completely, and as I just put it down on the table, it's gone. Nothing to see. I can just put it away. And anytime I want to, if I need to get the peak again for whatever reason, I pick it up with one hand, bring it over here, now I can see it again. Now I can see it again. And then when I press the button, now I can't. Now I can't see it again. That is incredible. It's just incredible. It's electronic. There's actually 2 buttons inside here in this part that basically allow you to have the display on or off, right? So I can just see it now, and I've literally just opened this up 5 minutes ago. I haven't even watched the tutorial, but already I can do it. Now you get this fake credit card, so that if you want to, you can have it in there, right? And it can be like a fake credit card or whatever, right? You can have it in there. You don't have to. Now, the peak isn't even the main thing with this bloody thing. As I'm talking to you, I'm coming up with about 16 million routines. The reason it's called the Materializer Wallet is because of this. Let me give you a couple of examples. So let's say you've got a corner torn off a card, right? Let's just say we've got a corner torn off a card, right? And that is inside there. So you can see it, right? You can see it there. And you can see the corner. So let's just say I force a 5 of diamonds and I switch the corner for this one, right? I can bring my wallet out, and when I want to, I can press a button and I can put it onto the hand of the spectator. And there's a 10-second delay. And then what will happen is after 10 seconds, the whatever's inside the wallet will slowly come into view in their hands, like that. And at that point then, they can open up the wallet and they can take out whatever it is. So as you can see there, boom, they can just take that out. Now, that's an example of what you can do with this, but they've got a bunch of ideas on this project. Let me see if I can... have I got any coins? There's a coin. Right. Let's say that you're doing a coin routine, because I know there are some coin routines on there. you can do the same thing. So I can put a coin in there. There you go. So check this out. I've set the materializer function. Let's just say I've made a signed coin disappear. And I've signed it one side, they've signed it the other side, and the wallet's in their hand, and the signed coin has disappeared. And then slowly comes into view inside the wallet. And then I can come in and I can have their coin underneath the wallet. And all I've got to do now is I can reach in. As I say, I've literally just opened this. I never even zipped it shut, silly me. So I can literally just reach in there and take the coin out, and I can switch it under, and they can see my signature, and I can switch it under there for their signature, or whatever it is that I want to do. Penguin was showing me having a folded up bill in there and talking about how you make money. I've got some great coin magic ideas here, because that, let me zip it up this time, so I'm actually zipping it up. That looks incredible. Watch this again. You can have them hold on to this. They can hold on to it in their hand, and after a 10-second delay, it's just going to materialize into view, and you're just going to see it appear like freaking magic. And then you can just have them open it up and take it out. Now, imagine doing that as a misdirection thing. So imagine you have them put their hand on it and you don't want it to materialize into view. Imagine that, for example, you imagine that you have it on their hand and you're doing something over here, and then when they look back, it's appeared. Imagine doing a chop cut with this. Hang on, let me see if I can get another coin. Imagine, this feels gimmicked. That's a flip coin. Imagine doing a chop cut with this. So you put the coin in the wallet and they can see it in there. And then what you do is you have another one palmed, right? And so you go, watch. And I haven't even worked this through, but you show the hand empty. Oh, the flipper's open. Here we go. You show the hand empty. You do like a coin loading move, like a home mask. You have this here, and you go, watch. And as I shake it, that coin vanishes, and it appears over there. But then I put this in their hand, and I take the coin, and I squeeze it, and I go, watch right here, and it's in their hand, and I squeeze, and the coin just appears, and it vanishes from your hand. I absolutely, completely love this. If Penguin don't want me to do a tutorial for this, I'm going to be doing a House and Wise. I just love this. This is probably, I don't know, because I love the button. I think this could be my trick of the year, you know. I don't know. I do the button all the time, so maybe it's not. I love the button. But this is so good. This is so freaking good. Nobody's going to get this off me. So that's the Materializer Wallet. That's that. I'm going to have that forevermore. And then finally, let me just check my notes. There's one last thing. Yeah, there's one last thing, which is me. So I've left, I'm not going to say I've left the best till last, but I've left the last till last. And this has been, I talked about the button earlier by Chris James. I was so proud to be a part of that project. I really was. Very proud to be a part of that project. This, I actually combined the button with this an awful lot. In fact, Chris James actually talked in his group a little while ago about how he actually wants to combine this with the button as well. This is my favorite way to close my card set. Bar none. And you know, earlier on I was talking about sometimes it's really frustrating that I have something and I can't tell you guys about it because I'm not allowed to. And you know, sometimes I'll do those videos and I'll be like, let me show you inside my close-up case. And there's certain things I can't show you because I'm not allowed to show you, and it could be 2 years until it comes out. The frustrating thing is, when you see this, I've been working with it for a couple of years minimum. Like, I've just had Eye Stretch come out. I'm filming this the day after the Eye Stretch trailer dropped at Alakazam. And I've been working on that for 5 years. It's really frustrating. Well, this has been my closer for my close-up set now for about 2 years, maybe even longer, probably about 2.5 years, because we wanted to try and make this really, really affordable. And it's an electronic device. And so it's sometimes quite hard to make an electronic device really, really affordable, right? But I wanted to really try my best. And what we have here is we have something called a tech deck. Now, I have to shout out the legend that is Drew Perry, because when I had the idea for this, I commissioned and paid Drew to make the prototype. And I had certain stipulations that I had in place when I asked him to make the prototype. So Drew, this wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Drew Perry. And what it is, effectively, it is a custom-made deck shell that allows you to perform an amazing version of Solid Deception by Paul Harris. So this is the unit. This is custom made. Now, what's cool about this is we spent this is all sort of made specifically for this. It looks like a deck of cards. The important thing is it feels like a deck of cards, and it really does. You can change things around on this if you want to, but it looks and feels like a deck of cards. But what's really cool about this is when they cut it and they lift it up, you get this beautiful moment here, which is absolutely amazing. Now, this is designed to look like a rider back card. Okay, so this is designed to look like a rider back card. You can see that all the circuitry inside is designed to look like a rider back card. There's a few things that you need to know here. First of all, it's a reed switch, which means it's only going to come on. You can probably see that as I put it down, it's going to go off immediately. So it uses 2 watch batteries, but those can be replaced very, very easily. But mine at home, I've been using for 2.5 years, and I've not had to change these batteries. So that should tell you everything. The other thing is it's magnetically locking, which is great. That's what all of those magnets are there for. Me and Drew really thought through everything with this. It's magnetically locking, which is super cool. And it means that you can literally give this to the spectator, and you can have them cut the deck. And when they cut the deck, they see the circuitry inside. Now, everybody raved about the tutorial that I put on the magic button. I put on a big slight section, and then I went through lots of routines to use the button with. That was the same approach that I took with this. A lot of the time, I'll tell you this, and we'll come back down to the deck. A lot of the time when I work with Penguin Magic, they try to shorten my tutorials, and I understand why, right? But I really insisted with this one. I said, I want this to be really meaty. I want to have a really big slight section. I want this to be accessible to anybody. I want a really big slight section, just like with Magic Button, where you can learn absolutely every sleight that you need to know. But then in the next section, I want to go through loads of routines that use this, because this can be used in one of 2 ways. The first way that you can use this is you can ring it in at the end of a card routine. So, and there's lots of ways that I actually talk about doing that. So during the course of a card routine, this is getting rung in, and there's lots of different ways of doing that. I've got a really cool routine where you've got a regular deck. You have this in a card box, right? So I've got a really cool routine where I've got this inside a card box, and as I take out the deck from a card box and I go to put it away, I switch the card box and put it down on the table. So I'm using this regular deck for all my routines, and I've got this really cool deck vanish where the deck vanishes except for their card, and they're left with their card, and you go, well, where's the deck gone? And then they open up and they take it out and it's in there, right? But so there's lots of different ways of ringing it in that don't even use sleight of hand. And then you're obviously into a situation where you can have the spectator, and that was really important for me. I needed the spectator to cut the deck. It took ages to get the right magnet strength. So because too strong and they won't be able to cut it, too weak and it'll fall apart in your pocket. You needed it just right. We went through so many different prototypes to get to this point, and it switches on the second they cut it. Now, the other way that you can do it, and I've got a ton of routines like this as well, is by having this in play from the beginning. So, for example, in this case, I've got a 2 of hearts and I've got a double back card, and that's it. So I can bring the cards out like this, and I can say, look, let me show you. So I'm going to reach into the deck, and I'm going to pull 1 card out. Do you want to sign this? So they sign the card. Now, with a series of tilts, you can really make it look like the card's going into the middle of the deck. Look, I'm going to take that card. I'm going to pop it right down there into the middle of the deck. Now, look, all I have to do, it's at the top. And I always say I'm going to push the button. There's a magic button right there. Push the button. And the card comes straight up to the top of the deck. Now, what's cool about this is there's only 2 cards, and this is an entire block. It's the easiest double lift in the world, because it's the easiest strike double lift. You don't need a break because you're just turning everything over that's on the top. And because it's a double backer, you can show that card. Now imagine combining this with Chris's button, so you have them press the button over there, and you know, the card. The card comes to the top. And obviously, because you're dealing with a double backer and you're dealing with tilt break, you can have them press the button again. You can have it come to the top of the deck again. I've even got sequences where you put it to the bottom and it comes to the bottom, and it's still, you know, you put it to the bottom, you give it a little shake and it still comes to the top. You know, you can have it cut it into the middle of the deck, and if I cut it into the middle of the deck, it's still lots of different options. You can say, look, I'm going to take the card, I'm going to put it into my pocket, and when I put it into my pocket, it still comes to the top of the deck. And then you can, what you can do is you can give them the deck. So at that point, you give them the deck and you say, press the button, turn the top card over. And then you take that card off and you say, of course, every single time I was telling you to press the button, did you believe me or not? Or did you think it was just something cute to say? It was something cute to say. No, that's how it works. It's the button that makes all the electronics work. No, seriously, press the button again, hold it down for 3 seconds. That unlocks it, cut the deck about halfway down. What the hell? And if you are using Chris's button, you've got all of the time in the world to do a fold of that card now. And if you're having them press the button over there, you can talk about how the button is linked to this deck, and the button's linked to the deck, and so on and so forth. And then you say, well, you're probably wondering where the card's gone, right? Well, look inside the button. It's your card. Oh my God, it's a miracle. And this is for me a little bit like, look, I've used Solid Deception. I've used Omni deck. I've used Phantom deck. I've used Bricked by Drew Perry. I've used all of them over the years, and they're all great and they're all wonderful, and I advocate using any of them. The advantage of this is a few different things. One, with an Omni deck, you can't have them hold onto the deck and stare at it, right? Because it's see-through. If they sit, which is why you have people, you know, when you see people doing Omni deck, you say, right, okay, put your hand on it. Great, now I'm going to reach in and take one card. Because then, when they lift up their hand, they see a see-through deck, right? With this, you can give them the cards. They can hold on to them. They genuinely believe they've got a real deck. You can have them turn over the top card if you want to. And that was the same with Paul Harris's Solid Deception, in the so far as you could do that same thing. You could do that, but then the deck became solid, and that was the end. Now, that was strong, that the entire deck can't be shuffled. That was great. But with this, you've got, the reason Omni deck was better than Solid Deception, in my humble opinion, is because the deck isn't just solid, but something incredible has happened to it. The deck has actually become, you know, like changed. Well, that's what you have with this, because you've got that solid moment, but then you say, cut the deck. And they cut the deck. And now all of a sudden you've got this. I've done Omni deck, I've done Phantom deck, I've done all of them. This gets the strongest reaction out of anything. Because people understand tech. Tech is everywhere around us right now. And this, they saw you shuffling the cards. They saw card, even if you're using it like this, where you're not switching the deck, they're seeing, you know, they're seeing cards going down into the middle of the deck. They're seeing the card come up to the deck. They're seeing all of this stuff. And then a second later, how could they see any of that? Because it's all technological. With an Omni deck, they pass it around and they look at it. But with this, every single person wants to just like look at it, and they do this and they do this and they do this, and they're like, what? Go look at the demo and go look at the trailer for this, and you will see the reactions that this thing gets. It's next level. And as well as that, it's, like I say, a little bit like a sponge ball. They all want to, it's a little bit like a jumbo coin. They all want to pass it around and look at it, and they can't believe it. And the reset is just to do that. And every single one of the routines, you can go into any one of the routines immediately. You just have this with you, and you can go into any one of the routines. And just like with Magic Button, I put a metric ton of routines together with this. I put a load of routines together. I put like, I can't remember exactly now because I filmed it like a year and a half ago, but it must be about 20, 25 routines, something like that. I wanted people to have the ultimate package that they could literally open up, and this could be your card set if you wanted it to be. You could literally, and I talk about that on the project, I talk about how you can combine all of the individual tricks, and you can actually end with the tech deck, and then as I say, you combine it with Magic Button. Amazing. Next level, forget about it. So that's the tech deck. That's also launched at Magic Live, Black Friday. I will be doing another video on this because I'm super proud of this. This has been so long in the making, and I'm so glad it's come out. So, you might never see me wearing one of these t-shirts again because Penguin don't know I'm making this video, and when they see it, they might tell me that they don't need my services anymore, even though I'm not employed by them. So that could be awkward, but I don't care. I am very excited about their Black Friday this year. So I don't know what Vanishing Ink are bringing out. I always say every year, it's always a between Vanishing Ink and Black Friday, and I'm not biased. Yes, I do a lot more with Penguin than I've done with Vanishing Ink. I've only ever done 2 things with Vanishing Ink. I did the masterclass and I did the session. Absolutely loved working with them. I love Vanishing Ink to bits. Josh and Andy are amazing. George Luck, incredible man. And I know one thing that they've got coming out, which is by Carissa Hendricks, and it's an amazing trick that I've been doing since I got it at Magic Live. So it's not that they haven't got amazing stuff. They have. And I love their cyber convention, I really do. But I think this year, based on what I'm seeing, I think Penguin have got the, I think they've got the edge on it this year, in my personal opinion. But then again, what do I know? Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know what you think of all of these products down below. Pray for me that I don't get kicked to the curb by Penguin Magic, and assuming that they don't kick me to the curb, you'll be seeing me on some Penguin Magic products in the future, I imagine. However, if you want to see me tomorrow, then you've just got to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and more importantly, go join the Netrix. It's my online streaming platform for magicians, and you can get access immediately. Outside of that, I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.